Okay, well, we're moving right along and we have our next guest. And for the second half of the show, we have two Monicas. So the first Monica is Monica Garner. And Monica has been on the show before, but when she was on with another co-author, and her name is not coming to me right now. But she co-authored a book with um, another writer, and when she was on before, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't want to say it before. I'm going to wait till she comes on camera so I can know if I'm correct or not. Um, but she was on, and she was writing fiction. I think the name of the book was Road Trip. I think I'm just trying to jog my own memory. And
Yes,
Monica, is that correct? The name of the book that you had, and what
that
was
is
the co-author's
correct.
name? What's the co-author's name?
Electra Parks.
Yeah, Electra Rome Park.
Electa
I
Rome
just couldn't.
Parks.
It just wasn't coming back.
Hmm.
We've had over 750 guests on the show, and so some people say they can't believe how many people I remember, but I can't like pull everything up. Like it's not like a encyclopedia. But I remember you being on. I think you all won the Black Authors Matter TV Awards. Um, I
We
think
did.
you all win. Okay, and that was
We
maybe
certainly did.
2023. I think maybe, or
I
it
think
might
it
have been
was like 21,
22.
21, 22.
It was a while back, and we're going to be celebrating our 5 year anniversary in July. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
been a while back.
Awesome.
So you're back on the writing scene with your own under your own name with a new book
Yeah.
called Summer on Cape
Hmm.
May. Do you have a copy of it?
Yes, I do.
And you're freezing up a little bit. Hopefully, it will correct itself. Um, Summer on
Oh,
Cape May.
okay.
Raise it up a little bit so we can see the whole cover. Okay, there you go. Summer on Cape May. Okay, and it's a romance. Now
It
you
is women's fiction. It's not romance.
Oh, it's women's fiction. Okay. All right. Well, it
Hmm.
seems like women's fiction and romance kind of are intertwined. Am I getting the wrong idea about it? It
Yeah,
seems like they're connected together.
there's a little bit of romance in there.
Okay.
A
But it's
little bit
not
of
a
romance in
true
there, but
romance.
that's not the
It doesn't have like the formula of a romance where it's formulaic.
right, right.
Okay. So,
I think I'm gonna log in on my phone.
okay. Monica logged off because she was freezing up, and she said she was going to log on a different device. So, and she looks like she's back on with the camera. We need the audio, and then we'll see how this one is. Because I did notice it as well. Um, that she was freezing up, and that there was a delay in. But I think this one now you're not frozen. So now I can't hear you though. You don't have audio because there's no microphone there. The little microphone's not coming up. So that means there's no audio connection. So are you logging on? Oh, there she left again. Hopefully she'll be back and we can discuss her book because I want to hear about it. And I'm sure that the audience does too. So I think someone asked about, there was a question earlier about the Children's Book Awards process, and it is still ongoing. The deadline is June 3rd. So if you want to submit, if you have a children's book and you want to submit it for the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Awards, the deadline is June 3rd for the postmark on it. So try not to wait until June 3rd, but um, once you submit the form and your fee for submitting the book, you get a confirmation email that you have to print out and ship with the books. So you only have to send one book, but some people submit in multiple categories, and that is allowed. So we're hoping to get Monica back. Okay, now I see a little microphone there, and hopefully, but we will just continue on regardless of. We'll
Are you
make it
seeing
work.
me?
I'm seeing you and I hear you, although you're. It's interesting. The mute is saying that you're muted, but I hear your voice, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, tell us about. Just show us your cover again, and then tell us about the book. And we were talking about romance versus women's
Okay.
fiction, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the difference is between women's fiction
Okay.
and romance. So, because in
So with
romance, the woman is
romance,
the central character. A woman is always the
mhm.
central character, and so tell us what the women's fiction is versus romance.
So with this women's fiction, it's about three girlfriends. And the setting is Cape May, New Jersey.
Okay, we lost her again. Hopefully, she'll come back. So her book has three females as the characters, and a lot of times the women's fiction books will have four friends or four female friends and their trials and tribulations,
It's
whereas a
three,
romance will be a
yeah,
female and a male as the main characters and not
right,
like four friends.
right,
Okay, all right, now
right.
okay, so
And
that makes sense.
and the story is centered around their romance, whereas with women's fiction, there is a little bit of romance in this book, but not that's not the central theme of the book. Romance isn't.
Okay, so Summer in Cape May. Now you informed the audience of where Cape May was because I wasn't exactly sure where it was. I
Mhm.
didn't get an opportunity to research it. So, is it like Martha's Vineyard? Is it a like a resort destination, a vacation spot, somewhere where the wealthy and famous, and I know she logged off, so I'm hoping she can still hear me. Where the rich and famous gather for summer or spring break or whenever vacations. Uh, so Cape May one of those kind of destinations like Martha's Vineyard? Oops. Now I lost my microphone. All kinds of things are happening. Okay, she logged in under a different device, so let's see what happens with that. So, um, I was asking about Cape May, Monica.
Okay. Okay. So Cape May, New Jersey. It is about an hour outside of Atlantic City.
Okay,
And it's interesting because Monique Greenwood, who was the editor of Essence Magazine, they did an article where she actually owns a bed and breakfast called Aquaba in New York. And she
okay,
owns, I think she owns more than that, but I read an article where she was visiting Cape May, her and her husband for a vacation. And they actually purchased a bed and breakfast there. And so I just thought that that article was so interesting. And that's how I came up with the setting for this book, Cape May. And I just started researching the setting, and it was just so beautiful. And so that's how the story began. And then
okay,
I wanted to write about three girlfriends, and they're all diverse. So Lou is Filipino and Black, Kenya is Black, and Natalia is Portuguese. So I wanted a diverse friendship. And so these ladies, they go through things, but they each have a secret about each other. And the secrets kind of come to a head in the middle of the book, and there are secrets that could destroy their friendship. And Lou, who is getting married, it could destroy uh, her pending marriage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So, Summer in Cape May, is this part of a series or is it a standalone book?
it's a standalone book.
Okay.
And I did want to take the ladies to a second book, but my publisher thought that it should be a standalone and that the second book in the contract should be a totally different story.
Okay. Well, at
Yeah.
least you have a contract, so that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a two-book contract with Kensington, and
Okay.
they're really promoting me as a beach reads author. So
Okay.
the books
And it's the
will,
time of the year for that.
yeah,
When did
yeah.
it come out? It just came out recently.
It came out April 29th.
29. So it's been out not right about a month.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect time for you to take it to the beach.
Okay. So the beach reads, that's still a thing where they promote books for people to read on the beach.
It is. It's a thing.
Okay. Well, I'm not a beach goer, so
No.
but no, I'm not near. I grew up like surrounded by water on the peninsula, and the beach was a block from our house. We could walk to
Mhm.
the beach. Um, but where I live now, I have to drive a little distance to go to the beach, and so it's not the same. The East Coast beaches are nicer,
Okay.
So I grew up on the East Coast in or California. They have
Okay.
beautiful beaches too. But we have Galveston, which it's a beach, but it's not.
I've been to Galveston.
I'd
Yes.
rather go to Kima. I like Kima better. And
Uh-huh.
Kima's before you get to Galveston. To me, it has more. It's like a bedroom community. It has a little more heart to it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's just
Right.
you know.
Now, I've
Um,
never been to Kima, but I have been
you
to
haven't. You
Galveston.
you need to go. Oh, now, where do you live? Where do you?
I'm in the Dallas area.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, there's
So
no
I'm
beaches in
right
Dallas. No,
at,
Dallas.
right. Not one.
Nothing close. Nothing close. So, but Kima, you should put it on your list.
Okay. Definitely
Kima,
will.
Kima's nice. Once I went to Kima, I stopped going to Galveston altogether.
Really? Okay.
It's just so much. It just had just more ambiance to it.
Now, a couple of years ago, we did Crystal Beach.
Okay. Now,
Um,
where's that?
it's down that in that area. Am I saying it right? Crystal Beach, where you have to drive your car onto um, the boat, and it takes to the other side of the water.
That I don't know because I haven't been. Then there's a South Padre. I think they do that there.
Okay,
There's
no, this
Corpus.
was down.
It's
This was down by Galveston.
I've heard of it, but I haven't been to that one. I just, you know, um, when you grow up around the beach, you have a certain expectation, and I would rather go to a beach on the East Coast or the West Coast
Mm-hmm.
because they're just nicer, you
Yeah,
know.
they really are. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't have any choice, or like you don't have any family, or you don't have a reason to go to the other places, then that's different. But um, if you have a choice and you have an opportunity to go, I would suggest people do it at least once because they really are much nicer.
Yeah.
So now the Summer and Cape May, you have your three main characters.
Mhm.
And are these characters based on, are they totally fictional? Or are they based on, personal friends or situations? Or it's just
Totally fictional,
totally fictional?
but you know, with any writer, I think that we pull from people that we know for real. We pull characteristics and things from people that we know to develop our characters. So,
So true, so true.
mhm.
As a writer, I can say that's true.
Yeah.
Now, what was the driving force behind you um, making the three women different backgrounds, different nationalities?
Well, I had actually promoted it to another editor, and she actually came up with the idea that she wanted to see some diverse characters, of different backgrounds. And so that's where that came from. It was, I was actually pitching another uh, publishing house, and that's what she
Okay,
wanted to see. She did
okay,
not she did not publish the book, but I took the story and kind of ran with it. Actually, developed it and did some other things with it. But that's how it all started out. She wanted to see some diverse characters.
so did you bring their backgrounds into the storyline? Like, did
I
you
did.
discuss the cultural differences or in the storyline?
Not
And how did
necessarily the not less not necessarily the cultural differences, but I did kind of bring their cultures into the story. So you get a taste of, Portugal. The girls actually go to Portugal because
okay,
Natalia is looking for a divorce, and she goes over there to meet with her husband that she's divorcing. So they actually do take a trip to Portugal.
okay. Now did you have you been to Portugal? Or
Haven't. I want to
okay,
go to, I need to go to Cape May and I need to go to
okay.
Portugal.
So you haven't vindicated. So in developing your story, a lot of people say they use Google Maps, or you can Google a lot. You can find about facts about places, some of the landmarks and all of
Hmm.
that.
Oh yeah,
So did you have to do a lot of research to pull
I
all that?
did. I did. And it made me want to go, but I did have to do a lot of research on Cape May and New Jersey, period, because Kenya, the one of the characters in the book, she's an attorney and she works in Atlantic City.
Okay.
So she commutes between Cape May and Atlantic City. So I had to, do a little research on Atlantic City and some of the other suburbs because her family is from New Jersey. So it was a lot of research about New Jersey. So I
Yeah.
need to
Now,
go
have
there.
you been to the state?
I've been to the state, but I have
Okay.
not been to Cape May, nor have I been to Atlantic City.
Okay. Yeah, some people say the whole state of New Jersey is a suburb of New York City. It's kind of sort of, but
Hmm.
it's actually New Jersey is bigger than the person might think. You know, the
Yeah,
state is it's a quite a bit of it that's not near New York City at all.
yeah, yeah. Kind of like Texas. Like you can drive 12 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Oh, 18 going well, 18 east to west. It's
Yeah.
18 hours across. So, um, and I've driven it.
You've driven the whole state. I mean, you've driven the
Yeah,
whole 18.
we went to California. We had a road trip to California, and I did all the driving. So Houston is 2 hours in to Texas from Louisiana.
Mhm.
So we drove, and it's really not that much once you get on I-10. Once you get past San Antonio, there's really not very much at all. It's just ranches and rural
Right.
little towns you go through,
Cactuses.
and yeah, I mean it's very rural, and the you know how on a map there'll be different font sizes based on the size of the town. If you do an atlas, like when you're looking at the state, and the only like city or that was in bold, like bold enough to be big enough to have a Marriott. That's where we wanted to stay. Was Fort uh, Stanton. I think it's Fort Stanton,
Okay.
and it's like a midway point
Okay. Okay.
between that and El Paso, which is on the other side of Texas. So
Yeah.
it's a day and a half. It's not something that people normally will do in one drive.
Mm-mm.
It's because it's so boring. So
Yeah,
it's
I had to
not.
drive that way. I drove that way going to California.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we went to California. So,
mhm,
uh, but Texas is a big state. People don't realize how big Texas is.
it
Uh,
is.
it it is huge. It you can fit 5 states in Texas and still have some space left.
Right.
So now, there's a storyline for the summer in Cape May. Does it take place over a summer? Is it
It takes
one
place over a summer.
summer? Okay,
So it
okay,
starts at the beginning of the summer. And like I said before, Lou, who is Filipino, she's getting married. So that's sort of the central idea is that there's a wedding that's going to take place at the end of the summer. So
okay,
yeah, it does.
okay. And so the ups and downs of their friendship create the arcs for the book and
Hmm.
make it so you want to keep reading.
Yeah, there are a lot of layers. Like the ladies have these things that they're going through individually, and then they have these three secrets that kind of come to a head that kind of pull each of them into the other's world. So,
Mhm.
and having to work through those secrets.
Okay, now tell us more a little bit in the time we have left about your overall writing career. What have you
Okay,
been
so
doing?
I started out with BET Books back in way back in
The early
2000.
2000s?
Yeah, the early
Okay.
2000s before Harlequin, purchased BET Books. So
Mhm.
my first book was released in 2005. It was called As Real as It Gets. And my pen name was Monica McCahan at that time. And so
Okay.
I started writing for Harlequin, after they acquired BET Books. And I kind of talked to my agent about writing for teenagers. So then I wrote a teen series called Indigo Summer. And there were 6 books in that series. And
Okay.
so Indigo Summer was pretty popular. They had it was in most of the schools, and the city of Chicago bought several copies of it and placed it in several of their public schools. And that was with Kamani True, which
Okay. Hmm.
ended. And after it ended, then I started writing romance. So then I wrote Kamani Romance, and then it ended.
Yeah, there
So
are a lot of twists and turns in the book, in the literary world, in the book
mhm.
industry. It's a lot of acquisitions, buyouts, name changes, just
Yeah.
all shutdowns, just
Oh
all
yeah.
kinds of things have occurred over the last since we've been in the industry. So that's been 26 years since we've
Yeah.
been in the industry. So and I remember the Monica McCann books.
Hmm.
Um, I remember the name from then. So I didn't connect you with that. I
Yeah.
didn't realize you were writing under a different name.
Yes. Yes.
So you have
So
quite a few titles then.
oh yeah, I have 19. This is number 19 for me. Summer on Cape
Okay.
May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. And how frequently are you releasing books now?
Um, well, after they ended the Kamani line, I kind of took a break from
Okay.
writing. And
Okay.
so then I received a contract with Kensington, and it was a 2-book contract. And so Summer on Cape May is the first book in that contract, and I'm currently writing the second book, which will be out next year.
Okay. And the book that you did with Electa, did you
That
all
was
self-publish
we
that?
self-published, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a project that we talked about doing over the years. We said we were going to do it. We were going to write a book together. And so we did. We wrote that, and then we did a follow-up to Road Trip. It was called Road Trip Holiday.
Oh,
And
okay. Kind of like the movie.
kind of, yeah.
Or that
So
was Girls Trip.
yeah, that was Girls Trip. This is
Okay.
Road Trip.
Okay. Okay. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we self-published both of those books. And
Okay.
then And then, yeah, so then I started writing for Kensington.
Okay. So since you've done the traditional and self-publishing, how did you and and then you've gone back to traditional. So
Hmm.
there are a lot of people who are doing hybrid publishing now,
Hmm.
hybrid writing.
Hmm.
How do you see the self-publishing aspect as opposed to the traditional, other than the advance against royalties?
Right. It's a
And
lot of
needing an
work.
agent and needing an agent most of the
Right,
time. Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Self-publishing is a lot of work. So, the people that self-publish their books, I take my hats off to them because you have to do it all. You got to write the book, you got to publish the book, you got to promote the book. So you're doing all the work. So, um, but you get to keep all of the all the money too. But um,
It may be less money overall, but for some people it's more or equal.
right,
It just
yeah,
depends on how much effort they put into it. But
yeah.
you're right, it takes a lot of effort. But even when you're with the traditional publisher, they expect you to do marketing.
Oh
They
yeah.
you can't like sit on your hands at all.
Yeah, you still have to market it, but the publishing part you don't have to do. So,
Mhm. And the distribution, you get
right.
better distribution with the traditional publisher. So,
Yeah.
everything has, pros and cons to
Yeah,
everything.
it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's whatever you prefer.
Hmm. Yeah. I had a thought today. Sometimes I have revelation thoughts when I'm looking at stuff or reading things or whatever. But, and I started to put it out there, but then I said, well, people are so easily offended these
Mm-hmm.
days. But, my thought was when someone looks at your book, this is like not you, a person. This is like a question for self-published authors or aspiring self-published authors. When
Mm-hmm.
someone looks at your book, can they immediately tell it's self-published? Not reading it, just looking at the front. And if the answer is yes, you need to go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You need
And
to
you add an editor.
Yes, and you need a cover. You need someone to do a cover where someone won't immediately look at your book and say, this is self-published. And then the next question is, do I really want to invest? Do I want to buy it and be disappointed? So
Right.
if, so that's a question people need to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And some covers I see, it just makes me want to cry
Yeah.
because they're so unprofessional. That's the only way I can say it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
your cover is beautiful, and when you did Road Trip, it was a great cover. So
It
that's
was. Yeah, we
it's
had a great
important.
cover for Road Trip. Yeah.
People judge a book by its cover. Rhonda was able to dial back in, so whatever she had something that called her away, but she was able to come back. So you get to say good
Yes.
night to Monica, the first Monica. We got two Monicas
Good
tonight.
night, Monica. I'm sorry I missed your interview.
That's okay.
Well, Monica, show your book cover one more time.
Okay.
And summer at Cape May. It's really beautiful.
It is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Colors.
Yeah. I love the cover. I
Mm,
thought they did a really good job with the cover.
it's really beautiful. So
Mhm.
congratulations on the book, and
Thank
I
you.
hope it continues to sell. And good seeing you back. I was telling
You
her, Rhonda,
too.
she was on the show with Electa. It's been
Hmm.
about 3 years ago when they had their book together, Road Trip. So this
Yeah.
Right.
is time back since then.
Maybe we'll do something else together.
Yeah, tell her I said hello when you see her, and you probably see her before I talk to
Okay, we'll do.
her. Okay, have a great night.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
being here.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.